This is Hannibal here coming at you with a big daily wrestling news update for you. SmackDown did a good rating following Money in the Bank Friday, zero point 0.7. Rampage did its best rating since May with Brody King in one of the feature matches. Big guy. Big guys do better than normal ratings. I've also interviewed Brody King, nice guy too. But let's just compare this: SmackDown 0.70 to AEW 0.12. Now let's think about this. Ric Flair said in an interview today that he pitched Tony Khan an idea of him turning heel on Sting in the last match of Sting, which was the last time he appeared in AEW. Came out last week that he was released from his AEW contract. But like, he wanted to turn against Sting and continue on in AEW as a heel. Apparently, they turned down that idea. They'd rather not even use him on Rampage or Collision and just get like done. It seems like they don't even try for Rampage and Collision, but I won't go on a rant about that. I just find it weird that you have Ric Flair under contract, and if they used him 5 times, it was 5 times, but I have a feeling it was more like 4 times, which was a complete waste. In other news, there's a lot of well, for one thing, Bloodsport. I interviewed Josh Barnett last week, former UFC champion, and he's in charge of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport that is affiliated with other companies, both in Japan and the US. One of the companies they're affiliated with is WWE, and Josh announced today that Charlie Dempsey from WWE is going to be on his next Bloodsport event in Brooklyn, New York. Dana White said on the Pat McAfee show that the September 14th UFC event at this Sphere in Las Vegas, which is an amazing venue, heard nothing but amazing things about it, including amazingly massive ticket prices. But yeah, they've spent over 17 million on their show there already. Of course, that's a drop in the bucket for the UFC. Jon Jones was charged with 2 misdemeanors in a case involving the drug tester that filed a police report after. I mean, it's up in the air what he did to her at the home. It seems like he just snapped off at her, but he's being charged with assault and interference with communication. Who knows what could happen there? But Jon Jones has a lot of money. I'm sure he could pay to make that go away in one form or another. And I mean, as far as the assaults goes, I don't know the exact details on this, but I don't think from any reports I read that there was any type of attack on her. He may have been mad at her and making some comments that could have been interpreted as threats. But Jon Jones is arguably the most dangerous man alive. I think if he had assaulted this woman seriously at all, she would have been in the hospital. He's extremely dangerous, and I'm not excusing anything that happened there. I'm just saying that from what I've seen and read about the case, I don't know if an assault actually occurred. He was definitely rude to them and definitely intimidated them. Nate Diaz apparently was not paid anywhere near the full amount that his recent boxing match against George Masvidal, what he was promised. Diaz was only paid 1 million of the 9 million, or sorry, he was supposed to get 10 million total. 1 million in advance, 9 million right after the fight. He only got 1 million. Apparently the pay-per-view did like TNA pay-per-view numbers, which is like basically around 1,000-ish buys. Hardly anyone bought this pay-per-view. I mean, it had a good arena crowd, and there was lots of people talking about it, but I don't know how many people bought it on pay-per-view. seems like around 1,000. So yeah, the guy that's promoting the fight is probably going to file for bankruptcy. He's saying his wife might divorce him over the losses. Gold digger alert there. So Nate Diaz is suing him for the money he's owed. And he's also asking for punitive damages based on misconduct and fraud. I remember something like that happened with the Phil Baroni and Chris Lieben bare knuckle fight years ago that I interviewed both of them before that fight happened. And I don't know if Phil was ever paid anything for that fight. It looked like he actually just took a dive for that fight, to be honest. Maybe he just didn't want to fight that day. I don't know. But then Lieben later told me, and I don't know if he recovered the money or not, but he wasn't paid either. So there's shady stuff that goes on in combat sports. Charles says the Sphere costs so much to build, the rent is through the roof, so tickets have to be crazy high. Yeah, I mean, I don't care to go see anything. I mean, I was spoiled so many years. I got to see concerts and got paid to do them, doing this concert security. I actually miss it in a way. I may go back to it one day just to see the free concerts and be at the front. But I have zero interest in paying to see anything. No gold to dig, Charles. That's right. You're right. So when there's no gold to dig, she goes. And if he's from Miami, that town is full of gold diggers. What do I think about Trump's shooting as WWE Hall of Famer? I think it's really sad that somebody died over that. I think at least one person died over that, an innocent person that was just there. I think it was a fireman protecting his family. And I've watched some videos on it as to why the security may not have been as good as it should have been. But at least Donald Trump was not killed, and they will have better security measures in place, I'm sure, for future incidents like that. Ryan, yes, I am actually currently working on a Marty Jannetty interview. I'm going to have Ken Patira on this channel Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. That interview was requested by Tank Abbott. Kimberly Page and Greg Valentine I also have coming up. But yeah, I'm working on others, including Marty. Someone has talked to him about it, and we're gonna get Marty back on here soon. So have a great night, and thank you for your comments. I appreciate the viewers.